What do you see? What do you see? Let's go look at the tractors.
Sure.
Is it tractors?
Mm-hmm.
Come here. Come on, dude. Yeah, it's tractors. It looks like Daddy's tractor. Does it look like Daddy's tractor? Yeah, it does. It won't go, will it? It won't go, will it, man? It just won't go, will it? Can you blow the horn?
Honk, honk.
So guys, I've got a question for you. Have you ever done something? Have you ever read instructions on a product and you came away thinking that you kind of knew what to do, but there was something like really nagging in the back of your head that said you should probably go back and read the directions again? Well, that's kind of the situation that I'm finding myself in today. I looked at all of the instructions, the app, and I guess the manual as well, when I got this tractor, and I thought I understood the service intervals on the oil and everything else, and I looked at it and I said, well, every 400 hours for an oil change, I'll do it every 200 because that seems like a lot, and 200 will be twice as good, right? Well, I missed the part about the break-in service at 50 hours. So that's the situation that I'm finding myself in today. We're sitting at 130 some odd hours on the tractor and have not changed any fluids or filters, so we're going to work on that today. And since it's been so long, I'm going to drain the oil into a small bucket, and we're going to put a magnet down in there and let it rest for an hour or two, and then see how many metal filings that we get off of that oil. Hopefully it won't be so bad, but you know, it's been a long time and we're still in the break-in period, I suppose, or way past it. So I guess there's a possibility there will be some in there. So we'll find that out today as well. So let's go ahead and change the oil first, and we'll let that oil sit in the bucket and settle for a little while. You know what's really sad is that, you know, I knew that there was a break-in period on equipment like that, but I just ignored my gut instinct and went with what I thought I knew. Big mistake. Oop, these don't fit. I'll be back. There we go. I was hoping that the end of this bolt was magnetic, but unfortunately it's not. So here's our magnet here. This is just an old magnet that came out of a starter of some sort, and we're just going to drop it down in here, maybe swish it around just a little bit, and in an hour or two we will come back and see what it has picked up. Hopefully nothing. That's kind of a constant a constant issue with me. If I had read the instruction manual first, I would have seen that there's no point in opening the hood for this. It's usually how I do things. I read all the instructions later on when I've run out of ideas on how to do it myself. Manual says it holds 8.7 quarts of oil. And I really wanted to use the Kubota oil, but I did some research, and this Delo 400 matches all the specs for Kubota brand oil, so it matches up fine with the DPF system and so forth, so I was able to get this instead. So we'll check the engine oil here in just a minute, but let's go ahead and replace the transmission filter. It doesn't recommend that you replace the fluid, it just recommends that you replace the filter at 50 hours. So we're just going to do this, and I read somewhere where people are having a lot of trouble getting these filters off, and I don't know if it was this transmission one or the hydraulic fluid filter on the other side. I guess we'll find out. Oh, it must have been these. This is bad. Well, shoot. Oh my goodness. That's on there. All right, well, I hope this oil filter wrench can hold up to a cheater bar, because I read somebody else had to use a cheater bar on one of these. Just hope the wrench can hold up. Oh, and it can't. Oh man, this is not good. Plan B here. I have really had mixed results with this type of filter wrench here. But at this point, I'm not sure what else to do. Oh, good grief. Surely it's not reverse threads. It's not. Really, I feel like I'm about to break something. Oh my goodness, it won't come off. Oh, come on. Oh well. So I look it back up, and this obviously is the filter that people are having so much trouble with, and it says that people are overcoming this problem with a chain wrench. Unfortunately, I don't have a chain wrench, and I really think if I can just tap this and get it loose, I'll be okay. And interestingly, this is the new one right here. Interestingly, it's got these notches in it right here. I don't really know what that's for. It's probably for a special tool that Kubota has, but I bet if I could tap these notches counterclockwise, I could probably get this thing to loosen up. That worked the first try. All right, good. Should have done that in the first place. Oh man, the instructions say to, after it gets tight, you go an entire turn, but I can only get it about a quarter of a turn. I don't know what tools they're using at the factory, but That's all I can do. Maybe they're stronger than I am. We'll go ahead and check the engine oil, and then we'll crank it up and see where we stand on our hydraulic fluid, transmission fluid. That's looking good. Actually, what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the hydraulic filter and get it changed first, since it's the same system as the transmission. And this one actually has a magnetic filter as well that we have to get the metal filings off of, so that'll be interesting. Ouch. So I was going to show you all that magnetic filter a little bit closer, but I don't have time because this is dumping hydraulic fluid. I need to go ahead and get this back on. Thankfully, I dumped it into a clean bucket so we can reuse it. There we go. So it turns out I can show you this filter, this magnetic filter here, because the new filter came with a brand new one. If you see all the black stuff on this, that's actually metal filings. So the job of this thing is to take all the metal filings out of the hydraulic system. So quite a bit on this. This is probably not what they recommend that you do, but I did catch this stuff in a good clean bucket, so I think it'll be all right. All right, that's got that. I'll add also that there is a screen in the bottom of this funnel, and it has managed to catch any debris as well. So clean bucket plus this little screen in there, I think we'll be pretty safe with that. Don't think y'all can see this very well. It's a pretty bad camera angle. Go ahead and check the fluid level, see what it's looking like, and then we'll crank it up and let it sit for a few minutes. Let the system fill up, and then we'll check it again. But that's looking pretty good. Crank it up, let it sit, make sure none of our filters are leaking, and then we'll look at the air filter and the screen. All right, I didn't get any alarm warnings, and all of our fluid levels are looking good. So we'll take this screen out, get it cleaned off, and replace our air filter, and then we'll check that motor oil. Yeah, it's filthy. How in the world can you accumulate so much stuff? It's incredible. Let's take this oil in and see what we can do about checking that magnet. So I decided just to do it outside for the sake of simplicity. So what we'll do here is just kind of swirl this around. I think it's been sitting for at least an hour and a half, possibly even 2 hours. So hopefully that's enough. And I've got right here in this little jug gasoline, clean gas, and I'm just going to dip this down into there and let that oil get eaten off, and then we should be able to see anything that's on the magnet. If anything, I'm still hoping there's nothing. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit, it looks like. Hope I can make this show up on camera. I really don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera. You can see there's some shiny spots right down in here. It's really hard to see, but there's shiny stuff all in here too. There's a little bit of metal on there. Definitely should have changed the oil earlier, but better late than never, I suppose. So guys, that's gonna do it for this video. We'll chalk this up to a live and learn type situation. I really doubt we did a whole lot of damage to the machine, and I think that better late than never, I suppose. It's got 131 hours on it, so we're about 71 hours overdue on this very first break-in service. You know, I had this feeling in the back of my head, because I know that there's a break-in period on equipment. I know that there is. I just bought that Honda generator. It had a 5-hour break-in period on it, and it's just, I just kind of set it aside in my mind because I thought I had read what I needed to read, and I had not. So live and learn, read the manuals more carefully, and listen to that little nagging voice. I also got the oil filter, and I really kind of wanted to take it apart, but that's a pretty well-made filter, and I really didn't want to have to go to all the trouble yanking it apart. But I rinsed it out with gas just to see what was in the filter, and there's a fair amount of metal filings in it too. So the filter was doing its job. I mean, that's what the filter's for, right? To filter out junk. So hopefully most all of that stuff ended up in the filter. Hopefully we didn't get any in the wear parts of the engine. Hopefully the filter was doing its job, and obviously it was, because there was a fair amount in it as well. But anyway, I thought that I would share this with y'all, my colossal maintenance error on the Kubota, and I will see y'all on the next one. Just, I guess, let this be a lesson to you. Read your manuals and take care of your equipment. I'll see y'all on the next one.